You're listening to Allman in the Morning, Common Sense Radio.
Good morning, you bunch of drunks.
So, we're back, Allman in the Morning. We're having a great time this good Thursday. Is it Thursday? I'm a little off on the day.
I know the holidays.
I'm feeling a little punch drunk. Yeah. I posted a little meme on Instagram about how this is the bit between Christmas and New Year where you wake up, you don't know what day it is.
Exactly.
You don't know what you're supposed to be doing. You're just moving along. You're trying to get it done. And we are getting it done. Welcome to the program, everybody. I'm Stacy Washington filling in for Jamie today. Thanks so much to Jamie, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to him and all of his beautiful family. 314-969-9797 if you want to join us. Right now, it's my pleasure to speak with Rachel Sutherland. She's a reporter for Fox News. Her Twitter handle is @SutherlandFox, @SutherlandFox. And we're going to talk about Trump. Hey, Rachel, welcome to Allman in the Morning.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Hey, I'm excited about Trump's economic plan, but I want to hear from you. What is there to be excited about? Is there anything?
Well, yesterday he did hold an impromptu news conference outside of his Mar-a-Lago club in Palm Beach and announced that some jobs were going to be coming back to the United States, namely 5,000 jobs via Sprint. They're going to bring jobs back from overseas, back to here to the U.S., and another 3,000 from a company I hadn't heard of before. Maybe you haven't either. It's new. It's called OneWeb, 3,000 jobs. So 8,000 jobs, so people might say, well, that's not a whole lot, but he's saying he's making good on his promises to bring jobs back to the United States.
You know, Rachel, I'm one of those people, I really don't, I don't take well to people discounting any number of jobs created. So when Barack Obama created jobs, I was always upset that there weren't more. So the issue is that he was below expectation. So with Donald Trump, the expectation for someone who's the elect, who hasn't even taken office yet, is that they would create 0 jobs. So he's now got the 8,000 jobs you just discussed. There's 3,000 or 1,000 for Carrier, a few thousand for other steel plants, I think it was. So what really matters is that the people who voted for Donald Trump, who are in the Rust Belt states and the middle of the country, those people are living in towns that have been decimated by the EPA's attack on coal and manufacturing and NAFTA and all of that. They're probably desperately happy to hear this news. And so I think it's a matter of proportion. If you have a job, this may not sound very impressive to you, but if you don't have a job or your job is on the chopping block, this sounds great.
Well, certainly a lot of people would be happy about this, jobs coming back to the U.S., no doubt about that. And no doubt that the president-elect has been working even through the holiday. Today he's going to meet with some CEOs of hospitals. And this has to do with improving care for veterans, medical care. We, of course, know everything that happened with the Veterans Affairs Department, and he has promised, the president-elect, to set up a 24-hour hotline at the White House answered by a real human being. Right. Remember that from the campaign trail?
Right.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about that, too. But it's like, oh, yeah, I did. Huh? So and that's one cabinet post that has not been filled yet. There's I don't know if this meeting today could give him some more kind of people in the mix to talk to, but it's one that's going to be a big job, no doubt about it.
You know, Rachel, I guess, so to me it sounds kind of hopeful. Obviously, we can't know for sure exactly what will happen because neither of us has a crystal ball. But do you think that we can take something about the competency that he'll bring to the office from the it's kind of an amazing feat to have almost every single position filled before the end of the year. And he still has 20 days in January to fill a few things, but I guess he's figuring he's going to do other things at that point. I don't know.
I'm wondering what he's going to do, too, but we have heard rumblings that he may make news on the first day in office, not just being inaugurated. I mean, that's going to be not inaugurated, sworn in.
Right.
Not just that, but that he may sit there and work on executive orders, things like that. Maybe trying to undo some of what President Obama did through executive order. So we could see that right there, news coming from the Oval Office that very day. And again, I don't have a crystal ball.
Right.
But it could be that he's getting a lot of this out of the way, and then he's going to start on other things. One thing, covering this transition and having covered him throughout the campaign and being there with him in some campaigns, some stops there along the way. I mean, he doesn't stop. I have a feeling that the lights are going to flick on in the White House at 4:30 in the morning. Feet are going to hit the floor, and then this is going to go until late into the night every single day.
Well, so what I've read so far, my feeling is, and it's only a feeling, obviously he didn't say specifically through a spokesperson, but he's planning on maintaining more than one residence. And the White House at 55,000 square feet, 5 levels, its own private bunker, own kitchen, private residence up top. It's impressive to us, but for him, he owns properties that he lives in that are larger than the White House. So it's a little bit of a step down. It sounds like he plans to be at the White House during the week and operate there kind of like an office. That's where he works out of. And then on the weekends, he'll be, in New Jersey or in the penthouse or at Mar-a-Lago. And so he may have to keep those kinds of hours. But from what I've read about him, he already does keep those kinds of hours as a businessman. He is an early riser and he works until late in the day. This is his normal mode of being. I don't want to be too excited about it because I'm trying to temper my excitement because he is so different, because I know he'll do things that I won't like. But it just feels completely different than any other transition I've ever been an adult to watch. So you've been covering it from the inside. Do you feel like there's a lot of excitement, or is this just business as usual and the rest of us just have to get used to him? How do you feel it's like, what is it? What's going on?
There has been a more almost frenetic pace to this transition, and it's partly to do with what you talk about and the fact that he keeps pulling hours, but it has to do with the Twitter era and the fact that we no longer really have a 24/7 news cycle. We have an every second of every day kind of news cycle. Things pop up on Twitter and it goes in a flash. We didn't have that. If you think about 8 years ago, when did Twitter start? I mean, it was around, but President Obama was really the first president to use Twitter, and he never used it the way that Mr. Trump uses it.
I mean, he used it almost like a fan club. And it was much more like there'd be strategic tweets and strategic use of it. He had a large He has a large following on there. It's not that he doesn't have any impact at all, but you never saw him create policy direction there. He would comment.
Yeah, not making news.
Right.
Yeah, whereas Mr. Trump does. He makes news every single day with his tweets. Stocks fall on his tweets. China reads his tweets. I mean, it's a different kind of world, and it's different covering it as a journalist because you have to be like, well, okay, I keep his Twitter page open pretty much at any time that I'm working, and that's almost all the time because he's always doing something.
He is always on there. I actually like it. I have a lot of people I've seen online, incessantly tweeting about how they want him to stop tweeting. But I think, so Rachel, you're a reporter, you're on Fox News. So this is, you're with a huge organization where Twitter is central to what you do. I feel it's kind of central to what I do. But Twitter is less than 15% of the United States population. And out of that 15%, more than half of those people only check it once a month. So we're talking about the very tip of the spear, but it is the place you go to check news. So I see him broadening the span of Twitter. You have to wonder, does he own stock? Because there are people who don't have Twitter accounts who are going to get them so they can keep up with a President Trump's tweets since he's so prolific there. What do you see? I know that Kellyanne Conway's been named as a senior advisor to the president, and I am always wondering, is that the same position that was held by another person in previous administrations, or is that a new one?
Well, I think it's a similar one I've heard anyway, to Ed Meese, to President Ronald Reagan.
Okay.
I mean, it certainly is an upper-level White House-type position where someone would have the president's ear. It's an advisory kind of counselor role. Mm-hmm. And I'm not surprised. I think that Kellyanne Conway could have probably gotten any job that she really wanted because she was, love or hate the campaign. You can't deny that the woman, broke her back practically to get him elected.
Well, I have later in the show we're going to play a Washington Free Beacon supercut of her comebacks because she was so. It was so nice to see someone who knew what they were talking about, who could come back effectively with facts and rebut these. She'd often go on the very worst shows, The View. Places where you're literally walking in, they have their knives out in full view for you. We're going to get you. And she would go in and she'd hold her own. I'm excited about her having such a pivotal role in the new administration. I had someone ask me recently, and I'm wondering about this. The Exxon CEO, do you think he's going to make it through the confirmation process?
I think probably. I think that Rex Tillerson will have maybe a harder confirmation process than the other of the cabinet picks for Secretary of State. This is a huge position, and there has been some Republicans who expressed concerns. Marco Rubio, Lindsey Graham being a couple of them. Oh, John McCain as well. And so, but I don't know that they'll go as far as to say defect. You'd have to have, well, right now, Republicans have an advantage of 52 seats in the Senate, 52 to 48. You need 51 to be able to confirm, so you'd have to have a couple of those defect, and then all Democrats vote against Rex Tillerson. That's unlikely.
Okay.
But, I mean, he's more likely to have a spirited confirmation hearing.
Interesting. Okay, well, I thank you so much for coming on the show this morning. I know it's the holidays, but your work is just so integral to us understanding the transition. And you are Rachel Sutherland of Fox News, Sutherland Fox, at Sutherland Fox on Twitter. Thanks for coming on today.
Thanks for having me.
Sure. Okay, have a good